Monster. I'm going to slide out and use this rock here for cover and see if there's anything active on the inside of that little bit faster water. Try to set my feet easy. Try not to go bumbling in there, rolling rocks over, because all that makes noise. And they're not dumb. Anything that sounds weird or looks weird, they'll move off. When one moves off, it bumps another one, and that one bumps another one, and that one bumps another one. You may only spook one 4-inch fish in here, but he goes and bumps 3, 4, 5 other ones. It's not like they're all gone and you can never catch them, but it gets a lot harder. Just try to paint my way into it like you're painting the floor. You don't want to go right into the most obvious stuff. A little bit on these out. Oh, there, I just missed that one. A little bit on these outside edges first. See if the village idiot's home. You never know, there's gonna be one fish that just, I missed another one. I don't know what those are. So if at all possible, I like to fish so the fish don't know I'm there. Look at that. That's less than ideal. So I try to hit everything I can hit before I move. Even if it's not the right angle, you never know, you get one that's dumb. Try not to break this rod on this tree. Come off just in time. Don't always get a good hook set when you fish downstream, but if I was to go walk down there and get in good position, I think that fish probably would have spooked. Like, it's just, these fish, it has to be right. If you don't spook them, and you're not like being too invasive, you can put 30 casts over there. If it's not right, then just ignore it. The 31st, if it's right, they eat it. It's a little bit fast over there. I need to really get some slack in it. I might have to get closer to that. But before I get any closer, I'll start upstream a little bit. Try to clear this out before I step out there any further. The angle's not perfect. I'm going to need either a little bit heavier weight or a perfect angle to get it down. And I'd rather not keep changing. So I take like 2 steps, I can get the angle I want, but I don't want to run anything that won't eat up into there and spook them out. So I'll make at least a couple drifts over their head, see if there's any that are real aggressive, they'll let me get them before I have to move out. Oh, I missed that one. I hit it pretty hard, but I couldn't see my line. I'll try to sneak in and get a drift or two close to the chunky rocks over there. Plenty of places for fish to hide. I don't know if they're in there or not, but we'll know pretty quick if they are. They should be pretty opportunistic in a place like that. Ooh, there's some wood down there I didn't realize it gets snagged. It's a perfect kind of place. You know, you got to give it a drift or two. If they're in there ambushing things, it shouldn't take long to figure out if they're there or not, or if you have what they want. Just get it in there and get it close. All right, so we'll try up against this wood. You got wood for cover, and there's all sorts of different insects that live on the wood and the leaves that don't live under the rocks. But it's also a little current break. Brown trout, if they got a current break, they're going to use it. They don't like to sit right in it like a rainbow most of the time. Small fish will, but if they can be in a place like that where they don't have to fight anything, that's where they want to be. I think that last fish I caught may have come out of right just in that spot, so there might not be another one there. Nope. We'll move up, try the outside edge of that wood a little bit. So I made a couple drifts there with the fly not to the bottom. See if they're willing to come up for it. And it doesn't appear that they are. So I'm going to come in higher, give it slack and let it fall. See if maybe they just want it slower. I don't have enough weight, so I'm just going to go further up, give it more time to sink without getting any closer. Nope, that hit bottom. Now we'll try a few drifts up in this little bit bumpy. It's pretty shallow, so as long as the drift isn't terrible, if they're in there, they should take it. So we'll try without getting the fly to the bottom first. Just see if they're willing to come up after it. Nope. Come in a little higher. Slow it down. Oh, there he was. There he was. So over there a little bit is on the outside of this gravelly. There's two logs that make a really nice roily little seam. And there's leaves on the bottom, some wood. It's hard to call it a shelf, but for here, 4 or 5 inches in depth is a shelf. So I would expect there to be multiple fish over there. Just got to get a good drift to them from down here without getting too close. Again, we'll try it up mid-level, see if they'll come up for it. From the bottom of that dead log up, there should be several. That's like a prime little bump, because there's a bunch of gravel above it, some weeds, and then it just comes down in there. There's a place for them to hide. There's also a little bit deeper right there, so they've got overhead cover with the water. There should be a couple there. They probably won't be big, they'll be little guys, but there's got to be more than what I've missed there. I'll give them a couple more with this. and then switch up flies right there. This is a little Perdigone type pattern that I came up with a couple of years ago, whereas on the outside it doesn't look like much. It's not real flashy, it's not real bright, but it fluoresces UV like a champ. You put it underneath a UV curing light or black light or whatever, and I mean the thing just, it glows. So I never used to believe in that sort of stuff, but I tried it and tried it and tried it, and there are certain situations, like right now we've got low light. There were certain times where it just flat out worked better than other things. So we'll give it a try. It's small, it's size 20. So there's a little bit of shine to it, but it's not big, it's not intrusive. So we'll see if maybe they want something small. There he is. You bugger. Well, he wanted it, so that's something. At least I got that going for me. So there's just this flat. It's at the deepest it might be knee deep, it looks like. Most of it looks to be shin to ankle. But we know that the fish will sit in it and stuff like that. They're easy to spook, but they don't mind it. So I'm going to pick my way out through, just kind of prospect. I'm not going to sit in any one particular area and make a ton of casts, but I'm going to work my way out, and as I work out, I'm going to fish whatever I can from where I am, kind of paint my way over there so that I don't leave anything unturned. Then fish my way into a position that I can fish this side and that side without going back and forth. It won't be ideal, but once I get this leader working the way I want, I've never fished this leader before, it's an experiment. I get in that middle, I can change the anchor point to out, in, up, down from being there instead of have to loop around to get it exactly in line. So I'll start from right here where I'm standing before I even get in there and just make a few drifts, poke our way around there. The glare is pretty bad on that left side, so I'm going to work on the right first just because I can see there. We'll poke our way in here and see if there's anything out in the wide open. It looks like junk water, and in some places it might be, but you don't know that. There's a little rock about the size of a 12-pack out there. That's all the cover one needs. One or two casts, move over a little bit. One or two casts, move over a little bit. Because there's not much out there. You just kind of grit it off, give it a half decent honest effort, and if you see something like there's a rock over there, I don't know, 2 foot by a foot, there's definitely room alongside the edge of it for one to hide. So we'll run one right along it, see if one's there. Nope, just keep moving. Because somewhere you'll find a seam or a gravel line or a couple of rocks where there'll be 2, 3, 4 of them on it. But you can't see it, so you just poke your way through there, creep out. No real fast movements, no real hard footsteps, just place your foot down each time. Try not to kick any rocks over. Sneak out there. Well, they might be pushed up further. Just keep trying. Somewhere they'll be. Just keep covering a little bit at a time. There's no need to sit down and park anywhere. Up there where those sticks are looks pretty good. Should be something up there. That fish was in like 4 inches of water. And nothing, not even a baseball-sized rock around it. We're just sitting out there. We'll throw a few more in there. You never know. I don't want to go too far though, because I need to start fishing to my left as well. Oh, it's hard to see over there. Monster. Big slammy. They might be pushed up. That'd be nice if they're pushed up, then we can get a whole bunch of them standing in one place. But if you don't work your way into places like this, you spook that one, he runs up there and spooks the rest of them, and next thing you know, you're like, ah, this place isn't very good, you need to move somewhere else. I need to get like 3 more feet up. So before I do, I'm gonna hit this stuff here that I haven't hit yet. Make sure there's nothing hiding in there. I broke him off. Yep. That's what happens when you get in the trees and don't retie. Broke 3 feet from the fly. There, another one sitting out in the middle of the sand. Nothing around it. He showed himself one too many times. Let's see what else is up in there. All right, so what I'm doing is instead of going over and getting the spot where the fish are off my strong shoulder, like it would be for over here, I'm staying here where I've already been. I've caught fish here, broke one off here, caught one there. I'm staying right here, and I'm not going to spook anything else. And I'm making the cast sidearm up in there, letting the sighter hit the water, and then how the sighter hits the water will determine how deep that fly goes. If I can land it flat, or I can put them close together, let it free fall a little bit, and I'm just watching it to either speed up. Sometimes if it doesn't land straight, it'll just kind of straighten out. Other times it'll really just shoot up in there. It's not as perfectly efficient as if I was over there, but if I go over there, I'm gonna spook them. So I'd rather snake my way up this middle and get everything I can get before I would go over there, if I did want to go over there. But so I'm looking for that sighter. If it lands, if I make just the right cast, it'll land good and straight, and it'll point right at the fly. And then you just watch it. If the drift is proper, it'll be going slower than the bubbles and whatever else is on the surface. And I just watch for it to do anything. It'll slow up a little more, or it'll turn, or it'll dive under. If it doesn't land perfectly straight and the cast wasn't just right, the sighter will be kicked off a little bit, or button hook. And then you're just looking for it to straighten out. Sometimes you can see the first little bit of tippet will stay on the surface, and you'll see it straighten out and never move the sighter. If it does anything that looks out of the ordinary, I'll set. You know, if you hesitate with these small flies and these fish, you're not going to get them. And for every one that you know hit, that you catch, there was probably 2 or 3 that hit that you will never know. Now I could get closer to those fish and get tight and get in contact and catch about everyone that grabs it. But I'm going to get a lot more to grab it this way. Of that I'm certain. You just got to get as many of them as you can. And if I want to, by staying back here, it's not far, it's not a terrible distance, but it's not a big creek either. And this is the deepest stuff around, so that's the best cover they're going to have. Even if I do only get a couple fishing this way, and I want to go back around this other side and get a little bit tighter and a little bit, look at that little bugger, get a little bit tighter, I can, because I haven't gone in there and spooked them. So I'm just working the edges of it right now. I don't want to mess up this habitat. I'd rather pick off the outside edges of it what I can before I really get in there and commit and go full bore, because they don't like that. I almost feel like I need to change flies again. Like I got that one, but that was, oh, missed him. Did you see it? See it move? I made a little mend, and depending on how that was, it either hopped that fly up or paused it. And as soon as I did that, he was faster than I am. Like, you can pause it, you can make it rise if you have a leader and rod set up that will allow you the control to do it. Then I can get a mediocre drift at least at angles where I would never otherwise be able to. All right, we need to make a couple drifts over here just to make sure before we move any. It'd have been nice if they were in that depression, because you could catch multiple fish out of it without them spooking too bad. We're gonna give it a little animation too. All these caddis bopping around. We're gonna start jigging these flies some. Missed that one. God, I wish that sighter was a little bit brighter so you could see it, because that one was like whoop, and I still missed him. There we go. That's why I'm missing them. Bait. Well, just trying to give them a different look. There's multiple different types of insects moving around right now. And these are fish that I already dead drifted to. So I'm just trying to give them a little something different to look at. Try to look like something that's working its way up off the bottom, getting ready to hatch. Even though what I'm using is not a match in any way for those granums, the movement that I'm putting in it is similar to one rocketing its way either up or down to lay eggs or hatch or whatever. So it's worth a try. Sometimes it really is the deal. Other times it doesn't matter at all, but it doesn't hurt. Like, I'd love to give it a little jigging up in there, but this tree's got me pinned down here, so there's not much I can do. The only thing I can do is lay it in there with all slack, hope the fly goes to the bottom, and then when the sighter catches up, it pulls it up off the bottom, like that. Didn't want it. Maybe. Oh, there he was. Ah. I was slow, like I said not to do. I was like, that's not a fish. Yeah, that was a fish. Another little 9-incher. Missed that one. Did you see it? They're jammed up where that dead log goes into the water and the fast current, that triangle. There are fish all through there. I just watched 4 different ones rise up through there. And every time I get a cast on the outside of that current, I get a hit. There we go. Oh my God. You're freaking killing me, Smalls. I gotta show them something different now. I gotta shorten up my tippet too. I think they're grabbing it so fast that I'm having to put too much slack in there and they're chomping it. And I'm just missing them like a fool. You little bugger. Ah, they're eating my lunch. We're gonna put on BP Perdigone. The only reason I call it a BP is because I got tired of saying Beta's Perdigone. I've been fishing it for years. I used to tie a stripped quilled version of it, but it took forever to strip the quills and it wasn't all that durable. So I come up with a thread and wire version that had the colors and everything that I like, that was much more durable and was quicker to tie. And it has been a really good fly for me on all sorts of things. Wild stocked, browns, rainbows, heavy, light. It's been good for me. It doesn't look like any one thing. I mean, it looks pretty beta-y, but there's nothing on it that looks weird. It also looks like, you know, some different midges that come off. It just looks like something to eat. And sometimes that's all that matters. We'll see if these fish, I think I shortened my tippet up too much, but we'll see. See if these fish that were rising before will take a nymph now. Huh. They ate a lot of those granums quick. He was fat. That was a little further up in there. I hadn't put a cast up there yet. That one wasn't wise to me yet. I'm gonna put a cast right along that dead tree where I haven't put a cast yet. See how quick I can miss him. Whoop, that's not good. All right, so we're about 3 feet above where I just missed the last, what seems like a dozen. And I'm hoping some of the nicer, more aggressive fish have pushed up in there. I don't know if they have or not, but the angle is bad. Like for the leader that I'm using, if I had a micro leader at this angle, it would probably be okay. But then the micro leader would have sucked for a lot of this other stuff. So I'm gonna use this leader and I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna arc the cast in from behind, try to lay it flat in hopes that I haven't spooked these fish yet and that one will come up and grab it. And the way you can tell is the sighter should move pretty far because they'll come up, grab it, and they go right back down. So that's all movement. And there's no, you're not tight to it, so they don't feel any resistance. That's the ideal drift in this shallow. They'll lay that on the water, it's up above them, they arc on it like that, pulls forward, I set, and he never knew I was there. And I didn't have to go to the bottom and get snagged up too much. That's the ideal. It rarely ever works that way. But I don't want to come in straight like this because then there's 37 currents between here and there that's going to grab this heavy leader and push it. So I'm going to come in like that. I'm going to shoot the cast that way and up so that there'll be a belly in it. I'll probably get about this far of a decent drift and I'll throw a quick mend at it. It'll drop and come back up. And that's usually about when I like to miss them because they're always quicker than me. But you got to be, ideally, if I was really going to be smart about this, I'd come in high the very first time, don't let anything set on the water at all, and just almost blind set. Just put it in there, expect one would grab it before it hits the bottom and just set. But I've had enough of this tree already, so I'm just going to lay it flat. I don't want to get in that tree again. I missed them before I even got the mend, so that was nice. Oh my God, they're freaking killing me. I don't know if it's the fly or what, but they are just, I mean, it's just so fast. Yep, that was 2. Luckily, there was a third stupid one in there. Pretty good fish, too. I thought the bigger ones might be up in there. That's a really nice depression down there where we were. Way too nice for those little 6 and 7 inch fish I was catching. So who knows what's up in the rest of this pocket water. It's not a big fish. The old Western flat brim guys will be calling it a minnow, but for 6 inches of water. Now he's not as stuffed as those little ones were. Those little ones were already pretty taut, fat. Maybe there's another stupid one in there. It's really unbelievable, honestly. I'm having to set at a weird angle. I don't want to set up because of that tree. And I don't want to get any closer. So I'm just as I said it, after missing several fish in that little seam, I changed up flies. And I'm going to come in high and only let about the fly and that much tip it in the water and chop it. Like, I'll let the drift hang through, but generally once it starts going normal speed, they don't want it. So I want them to grab it almost on the fall. So I'm just going to chop it up through there, and if I miss them this way, it's almost guaranteed to go far enough up into that tree that I'll just have to switch everything. Missed him. That was about 3-incher. I don't feel bad about that one. All right, we'll go back down low. Nope. See him? If I could just set this way, I think I would get some of those. Not every one. Yeah, it was a 12-incher. Probably one of the ones I missed before. All right, I'm gonna try just on this side of those 2 rocks that are in front of you there. Whoop, I just stepped on one. It was right here. Ankle deep water. He went right over there. No, he's still sitting there. He didn't go all the way over. He might not have spooked him. I'm gonna see if there's anything just on this side of those 2 boulders. Bait. More bait. Yeah, there shouldn't have been one that small on a spot like that. I think we've got them all rooted up. Let me poke around in this very top. Make sure we don't leave anything up there.